Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. And we are playing some Valheim today. Some friends and I started playing it again with some of the new updates, and we added in some mods this time. Originally we didn't use any mods, so yeah, it's still a fun, great survival game. Really not all, and the music's so good. It's all good. So yeah, we're just gonna spend some time mining some copper, I guess. So, yeah. Let's get right into the news. This week on this channel, we had some Wild Hearts, and I'm just gonna go ahead and break it to you right now. There's gonna be one more video of Wild Hearts, and then I abandoned it. Not because it's a bad game, like, not really at all. It was mostly just because I'm not in the mood currently to play a Monster Hunter style game. Yeah, that's really the long and short of it. I don't know if I'll come back to it or if we'll just move on, because I have so many other things to record, or that I've already recorded, things like that. I don't know. For now, all I can tell you is that you're just getting one more video. And I think in its place, I'm gonna go ahead and just start uploading Genshin Impact. It's another thing that's kind of concerning, because I have not played Genshin Impact in like months now, and the LP is not finished. It's like halfway finished, maybe a little over halfway, I don't remember. But yeah, obviously not finished. And so we could get to the point where I've uploaded all I have, and I still don't want to play, and so I just leave it at that. But I'd rather get something out there. I'd rather get something out there than nothing. So, yeah, I mean, Genshin's a good game. Do not be skeptical if you have not really played it or watched any of it. Give it a chance. And of course, Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. That will continue for the next couple months. Probably more than that. It's gonna be a while for Pathfinder. And then I recorded all of Kingmaker as well. So all of Kingmaker's done, although it's not nearly as long of a Let's Play. And now, I'm not recording it, but I'm replaying through Wrath of the Righteous already. because I just cannot get enough Pathfinder. It is too damn good. Now I'm playing with mods, and I'm doing a different mythic path, and it's just... It's just too good. It's just too damn good. Right, so that's pretty much it. It's gonna be more Pathfinder, one more video of Wild Hearts, I believe, and then Genshin. And for Two Brothers, we finished Divinity Original Sin 2. That was good. We actually beat it. We actually completed it. With no cheats or anything like that. I mean, it was certainly not on hard mode with 2 lone wolf characters. But, you know, it was a legitimate win. And I was definitely skeptical that we were ever going to finish it. But there you have it. So I think on Wednesday we're gonna start up probably Factorio again for a little bit. April 13th is the Total War DLC, so we're gonna switch over to that when that comes out. And that's that. Okay. Not really sure what's going on there. And yeah, I think that's it. That is it for this channel. Over on the Exploring series, I released more Marshall Carter and Dark SCPs. It performed okay as far as my recent videos are concerned. And tomorrow we're doing another Rounder House SCP, Second Sin, which is actually the first one in the whole Red Tape, a Money ROM series things. I don't think you'd ever really be able to tell that just based on the article, but it is a fact nonetheless. And I did make the announcement on Patreon that I am going to be switching over to 40K half the time. And I'm going to be making that announcement publicly this week, Tuesday or Wednesday or something. And Can the SCP Foundation take on the 40K universe? That the script is finished. I finished writing the script. Could I spend more time on it? Probably. Am I rushing? Maybe. But you know me, I'm not the type to like spend 6 months on a video. You know, those YouTube channels that will only release like 4 videos a year, 3 videos a year or something. Nah. I'd rather just move on. Rather than like keep going over it over and over and trying to just keep improving it. I'm not a perfectionist. Perfect is the enemy of good, as they say. So it's a good script. It's not a perfect script. It's about 25 minutes, which is something. It's not quite the 30 minutes that I had originally cited as what I wanted, but it's reasonable. I think it's pretty good. It got to the point where it's like, okay, I've pretty much touched upon every SCP that I think would be interesting for the discussion that I'm aware of. More or less. I mean, you could mention more that I am aware of, but, you know, mentioning in that case would just be like, yeah, I think it really wouldn't do anything because of this. I'd basically just be shutting down arguments, or trying to shut down arguments, as opposed to bringing up an interesting point. So there's that. So yeah, I pretty much covered everything that I am aware of. So then at that point, it would have to be like going through and finding new SCPs that I haven't read to try and figure out, okay, let's look at this and let's look at this and could this, you know, and that would be a much more involved process that I really don't want to get into. So I left it at 25 minutes. And so I still need to record it, and I still need to put it together, but I think we're definitely on track for a April 1st release, which is exciting. So I have reasonably high hopes for that video. I already know it's going to spark just a lot of arguments. I've tried to preempt that in the video, but that would require people to actually watch the whole video and listen. And the people that write YouTube comments to argue tend to not do that. So we'll see. I can tell that I'm going to have arguments because grand majority of people familiar with the SCP Foundation seem to just think that they stomp every universe. Like, the people that get into these discussions when the Foundation's involved, they seem to think the Foundation is just like omnipotent. Like, they'll often cite, like, oh, well, the Foundation has contained God, so clearly they just dominate. Well, actually, I mean, that's a step further than some people. And it depends specifically on the question you're asking. If the question you're asking is the SCP Foundation universe versus, say, the 40K universe, then it's a bit more of a nuanced discussion. Because in that case, you're basically just doing like a power comparison between the powerful entities of each universe and which one would be, you know, like an ultimate victor. How does SCP-3125 stack up against, you know, the Chaos Gods? And generally, I would say... I don't know, because it's like, what is the true power extent of a Chaos God? Their goal is not just to wipe out all existence, right? Or is it? Like, Korn doesn't want to just snap his fingers and have all life be extinguished. Because, you know, he revels in the bloodshed and the carnage and the violence. Whereas, yeah, I don't know. I mean, 3125... I guess is just more powerful? Being able to just erase anyone that's aware of it from existence, that's pretty powerful. I mean, in Dragon Ball Super, that's regarded as the most powerful entity in existence. Is whatever the fuck his name is. The little blue dude that can just erase anybody with a thought. I mean, that's obviously a very powerful thing. But anyways, the point is... I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, that's a sort of a nuanced discussion, because you're just directly comparing the power of two entities. Of different universes. If they were to just be thrown into a big gauntlet, however that might look, you know, who would come out on top? Which universe would be more powerful? And in that case, yeah, you'd probably be right that the Foundation's universe would be more powerful. Because there are a lot of godly, almost like mythos entities and stuff that are meant to be just on top of the heap. You look at, like, what is SCP-3182, I think is the number? DJ Cactus's one, where it's just... it's undeniably the most powerful entity in existence because it's above the level of reality. So, you know, it's as powerful as, like, a writer just deciding to kill off a character. Like, nothing... That character is powerless to stop such an event from happening because it's on a lower level of reality. So there's no contest there. So, yes, if you compare the two universes... The Foundation's universe pretty much wins. But that's not what I'm discussing in the video. I'm specifically discussing, can the SCP Foundation take on the 40K universe? The Foundation itself. And so that's where you get people saying, like, oh, well, they've contained God, so clearly they can just deal with anything that the Imperium of mankind could throw at them. And it's like, well, first of all, there's a huge problem with 40K being pretty clear on what's canon and what's not canon. I couldn't just make up something about the Eldar and put it in a video and people would be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You know, people would call me on my bullshit because that's not canon. But the Foundation, anyone could write an article and it's just as canon as any other article. It's all fan-made stuff. Could have sworn there was copper around here somewhere, and I gotta find it. And so there are wildly different canons. I mean, there are canons of the Foundation where it's just them in the Wild West. And, you know, if I did the whole video as if it was like that canon, and it was like the Foundation in the 1800s or something, people would be like, what the fuck? This isn't the SC. What are you talking? Why are you know? People would be very confused. But that's just as canon as anything else. So what I tried to do is present like a very baseline form of the Foundation, the Foundation that most people would think of when they think of SCP. I didn't say that. I mean, yeah, I tried to mention that, you know. I said, you know, we're not going to be doing alternate canons like Ad Astra per Aspera and stuff. But obviously it's a little bit rough because you have SCP articles. You can't just say, well, every SCP article, of course, like, you know, an actual numbered SCP, they're all fair game. You can't really say that because obviously some SCP articles, some numbered articles, take place in different canons. You know, there's the one SCP that's basically the start of the Apotheosis canon. Does that mean that all of Apotheosis is going to be part of this discussion? It could be if you want, but it really gets out of hand pretty quickly. There's SCPs that take place in Ad Astra per Aspera. Does that mean the Foundation that we're talking of is spacefaring and has mastered faster than light travel? Most people wouldn't think about it like that. But it's just as canon as anything else. So it's really tricky. I mean, yes, if you take everything the Foundation has accomplished in any sort of canon or article, yeah, they're pretty fucking impressive. But that's like a useless discussion. So I think most people have a baseline view of the Foundation where they are largely terrestrial bound. Maybe they have a base on the moon or on Mars or something like that, but they're large. They don't have necessarily faster than light travel. Or if they do have it, it's like a probe or a drone or something, not like massive fleets of vessels that they can just roam around. Hey, a troll, nice. And they contain things through various means, but they're far from omnipotent. And I just saw so many discussions on when you know, people talking about Foundation versus 40K, and it's just like, what sort of Foundation do you believe in? You know, I mean, what do you really think is happening here? Because the way that people talk about the Foundation and their capabilities, this is my real question to you. Why would they ever have a containment breach? There were people talking about like pataphysics and stuff, and how the Foundation can just like rewrite the narrative and rewrite reality. And it's like, if that were fucking true, they would never have any problems ever. There were people talking about reality benders and like, oh, they have MTFs that are just reality benders and can do anything on a thought. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. That's not how any of that works. I mean, first of all, there's different degrees of reality benders, and it's generally accepted that, you know, the highest tier that potentially could be capable of doing anything they wanted, they're not just at the Foundation's beck and call. You know, the one exception might be SCP-239, but I would argue that's a really early article, and you know, there's a reason that she's just like in a coma and they don't talk about her much because it's ridiculous. But yeah, the Foundation in general, they're fairly mundane. They have problems that can't be fixed. Look at the broken Masquerade canon. If they could just rewrite reality, they would have fucking rewrote reality and put the cat back in the bag. But no, they were like, well, shit, we're pretty boned and we have to accept the consequences. Not, let's just rewrite reality. You know, it's because obviously an organization that could just do anything they wanted with no complications is really fucking boring to read about. And so that was my other sort of thing, is like, even in a situation where the Foundation would want to utilize whatever anomalies they could to save humanity, there's just so many logistical problems. I think this harkens back to my days playing RPGs, tabletop RPGs, where I would constantly think about problems like that and not being able to just snap your fingers and make something happen. You know, people talk about somebody mentioned like SCP-610, the flesh that hates, right? And they're like, oh, well, you just unleash that on the whole, you know, the whole fleet. And it's like, fucking how sure, okay, maybe you can infest one ship. How do you infest the other 40 ships? How do you spread it? How do you stop it from spreading across Earth? Like that's a bit, they're trying to save humanity. They're not just going to do anything that'll just fuck up the planet. And then, oh boy, people love to bring up SCP-2000, even though it seems fairly clear a lot of people have not even read SCP-2000. Again, people seem to think of that as just a reality rewriter. Oh, everything's fucked, SCP-2000, and then it just goes all back to normal. That's not what it does. SCP-2000 does not rewrite the timeline. It does not change reality or anything like that. Its primary function is recreating humans. That's its primary function. Its secondary function is like recreating works of art and like culture and buildings and things like that, like, you know, mankind's creations. But if the planet is fucked, it can't redo that. I mean, maybe there are articles, maybe there are canons where SCP-2000 gets buffed a bit, but just based on the article itself, it is not a reality rewrite button. It is there in case of all of humanity dying, or, you know, some sort of apocalypse that can be rebuilt. So yes, there are situations where SCP-2000 would work to just save humanity in a 40k invasion scenario. And I even mentioned that perhaps the Foundation would be so bold as to, like, purposefully kill off humanity so that the invaders like leave or whatever, and then they use SCP-2000 to rebuild things and recreate humans. But yeah. And honestly, I said in the video, in the script, that the most likely scenario of some invading force is that the Foundation really would be fairly squeamish about using all these anomalies for like hostile measures, because so much could go wrong. Especially because they don't have total control over these things. Who knows what would happen? So I think they would hesitate to use anomalies when like the iron is hot, and they would probably pay the price for it. And then by the time it's too late, then they'd have to kind of scramble. Honestly, I think that would be the most likely scenario based on their kind of track record. The Foundation does not use anomalies willy-nilly. And if you look at, you know, other articles and other canons that talk about apocalyptic scenarios, of which there are many, they don't tend to just use anomalies. They try to solve it in some other way. But anyways, there are ways that they could win. Overall, I would put money on the 40K universe, but I also say that, like, at the end of the day, we're talking about two fictional things in a conflict. It's all up to whoever writes it, you know. There's no like definitive winner. The whole point was just to spark discussion and to get views. That's it. But it's interesting to talk about. So, yeah. So that should all be on track to be done by April 1st, which is oh gosh, next Saturday. So yeah, I should be done with it by, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday. That'll probably go on Patreon for a Saturday release. And hopefully it does well. Okay, I think I kind of ranted enough there. So yeah, more Pathfinder. I'm going to be saying that a lot in the future. One more video, Wild Hearts, then some Genshin Impact, the free LP, no money spent. Some more Two Brothers Play with Factorio. And over on the Exploring series, we have SCP-5549, I want to say. And that should be all good. All right. There you have it. For now, though, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.